Now, I'm old enough to remember when developers would build estates, they were brought up to adoptable standard and a bond was put there, and the council would adopt and take responsibility for doing what we all expect generally around our homes. A lot has changed. Councils now don't have very much money and are probably keen to pass that on, and developers, as my honourable friend has said, have found another money-making exercise, a bit like Leasehold, really, to squeeze even more money out of the sales. And in my own area, companies such as Persimmon in Buckley, Taylor Wimpey in Penaford and Bloor Homes in Broughton have passed on this maintenance requirement onto maintenance companies. My honourable friend has mentioned Greenbelt and Trinity are another one of the big players. And you only need to look on the internet and Google these companies to see what the average resident thinks of the service they are actually providing. Now, these are not your sort of London luxury developments that have got a swimming pool and a gym and perhaps someone sitting on the front desk. This is for cutting the grass and maintaining a play area in some cases, maybe a nature area as well. And as well as the standard charge, we are seeing things that are not covered by the standard charge. And this is very vague. If I just talk about Greenbelt, in their very nice glossy little brochure with happy smiling people who are no doubt delighted to be paying the fees that they have, we have a list of services. Now, one of those is fencing. And in what is covered, it says, fences will be checked as part of the routine supervisory inspections. The condition of the fence will be monitored and any repairs instructed as and when required. If we then move on to things that are not covered but are chargeable, we go to fencing works. Fencing works will be identified as part of the routine supervisory inspections. The conditions of the fence will be monitored and any works instructed as and when required. Now, to the ordinary person, these sound very similar, but yet people are being charged extra for this work that isn't covered. And indeed, it is very open to what can be actually charged in these circumstances. And as I've said, residents are not aware, in many cases, what they're actually being charged for. Many people have described this as like a second council tax, because it is reaching a level now where it is not that £100 that people actually started off with. It's a much higher figure, and particularly for something that most people thought was actually covered by the council tax that they actually pay in the first place. And like leaseholders, freeholders with these charges are coming to me now and saying they are increasingly worried that this could affect the saleability of their property going into the future. Just as leaseholders are telling me that sales are falling through because when people look and say, I'm not going to buy that property. And that is just not an acceptable state. And at the moment, there are no legal protections for people. Leaseholders have some legal protections, but again, I think they are very weak. And I've got a lot of mixed estates where some of the houses, often houses exactly the same next to one another. One is leasehold, one is freehold. The thing they have in common is they all have to pay these management charges. Where residents want to actually perhaps form their own management companies and run their own maintenance and put out tenders. And maybe the council might want to tender for some of this work.